Don't need to let ya call and jaga. Yeah, it's fall out jaga. I guess I change jaga. Can do na mashona jaga. Yeah, I feel like a plaga.
Yeah, ulla di voice tabana na kamera ka mo.
I rather be good fighting for the people than to be good for myself. I don't believe in that.
Elderly people together.
It's true.
How did you choose elderly people together?
It's true.
And when they came back, there were no food. There were what?
I needed to do it. It was my constitutional right and it was my constitutional right because nationally vested power. So I must identify the need of the people. And I gonna go need to government Baske ba re thetsa ba re na tšhelete ya pay ke yone ba kula ka Sesotho ka ga Qwaqwa le ke bua ka di principal ke bua ka ma teacher ke bua ka ma nurse ke bua ka ma police ha ona mohlang re ipitsang rona re le batho he re tlwele politics and say ntho ne tlamele ye mina
no how did you fight? Khale ke thata o di male fati batlo le mala no ho bua di tlase tswela ba pala tshela motlakase shapela fati jwalo ka katse ba ka musino ba gangwa ke gase team ya magabela ke ne swala gasha ha ba sa bona no ba bona o le legotho batlo safara di kwata le tlo le mala di kwata batlo safara di kwata le tlo le mala di kwata.
In my baby, Tshabalala, petit boss. Isn't just me over there, but pussy vodka. Why you dancing like you wanna do? Come over. Sahlasela marabela uzokoka. In my baby, Tshabalala, petit boss. Isn't just me over there, but pussy vodka. Why you dancing like you wanna do? Come over. Sahlasela marabela uzokoka.
Yeah, they have to change.
They have to change. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Qwaqwa's Finest. I'm your host, Staidy. And today we are honored to have the Vusi Tshabalala again. Let's shoot for the star, aim for the moon. Aim right to this time. I'm not shooting for the stars, but aim for the moon. The Vusi Tshabalala, how are you?
I'm good, Mr. Leshawano. I'm good, and your team, your crew.
Ninja,
yeah,
le right. The singers.
Le monse secha.
Balaga chess. They must say chalet.
Yeah, no, balaga ntwe right.
Balaga ntwe right.
Tamele re lega chalet. Chalet tla etsa re sebetse ka thata. Chalet tla etsa maphelo a change.
Yes.
Mara se ke ga e rata holo a ke re chalet.
But at the end of the day, we are schooling out the top pass of the chalete. You say this passing have the chalete. Yeah, you're right. So, that was a couple of Hanyani happy, but about to lose it into the Hahulu, who go shallow say Vusi Channel.
Vusi Velem Tshabalala. Kimo Aywa Mona Qwaqwa. Mo Iowa Free State, mo Iowa South Africa. I'm one of the politicians around here. A concerned citizen. A concerned citizen of South Africa. I think development. Development in the sense already into the change. There is no center of attraction. There is nothing you attract. It's the same thing. It's the same place. City Sakhale, you know. But yes, there are changes. Very drastic.
dintho tsa etsala during your time.
Yes.
So I've heard government and barena fighting for the land yani e ba batlang be mall ba batla be mall again.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of confusion.
So can you walk us through hore hela hantle with that? Because I've heard one of the interviews. So yes, but can you walk us through the new year landing?
Yeah, o tla hopola hore during the land claims bana ba bitsa ka hore ke land restitution. At that time in the president Ntate Zuma, who was actually championing it kana go ya high, and unfortunately dintho tse ngata kana go eo ha di a etsala ka tsela e nepahetseng, because remember during the time ya land claims ono sna hore motho ka rekisa land kapa government ka rekisa land during that period. Now challenge e bileng teng e la ba ya hore during that time that piece of land was in question, number 1. 2, in essence ena le batho ba claiming hona le di community members community members e leng di beneficiary who claimed that land, and into nkutlisa bohloko nna go hore there is a whole lot of wrong things that are during the claim. Look, now I was a typical mayor who was just deployed to work for the people, and I was not working for land reform department kapa land rural department, but re a tseba hore hona le ba the beneficiaries tse benefitileng into that land ba fueng tjhelete. I'm talking about more than 50 million, I'm talking about 86 million tse teng tse le hore in their own records, but tse sa etsweng ke department ke masipala, which was land claim and land restitution processes. Now hona le di beneficiary tse ileng tsa re tsona di batla tjhelete, di batla mobu. Re ka bua ka yena ntate why ke le bala morena wa rona bana
the current one kapa
ntate le hore ke part ya di beneficiary, and who is Ntate Skhosana. He's part of the community members, because opule mo Ntate Skhosana. And I want to tell, I don't want to talk about my issue, because now my four grandfathers, when they arrived in Free State, Ntate Moholo wale la pala hesu, they were part of the people but using lebon Tatuan Morenas Khosana in that area, ya Clarence Kaofela, Golden Gate and so on. And I know part of the Tshabalala clan, they were part of the people who claimed that land, and process it's one about land reform, but the title deed. So that land is in question, and that is why I don't even want to talk about the issues at court, because we know Maspala we mono, but it's in court, a high court, a Free State, they are very disappointing, and that is why President Jacob Zuma Aiba South Africa. What's about to understand? Yes, of course there are issues. It's about against our own president, because our own president did not do anything for the people of this country. He has done so much. And I want to but sometimes need. There's no need to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and my mind.
Opinions.
Freedom of opinions. Yeah. But the freedom of opinions must be informed by the facts.
Yes.
Because there's no need to because unless it's a chelete, we know he said it's a chelete, and so on. We know. And we know that people are making money. But in a way, when people criticizes the leadership that has done this country very well. And now that land, those beneficiaries, that land does not belong to the municipality of Malutapofu. We took a decision when we were the council, Rona, and the mayoral committee there, or about 120 body beneficiaries, Manembatlamele Bafu a piece of land there. Rona, Tlamele Babili, se masipala kapa government ba etsetsang sona, because kana go eo human settlement ya Free State ene ba tshepise tla ba aela matlo hona area. This is a fact. It's not a story. I was part and parcel of this transaction. I was part and parcel of that transition, and I'm speaking. That's why I don't want to comment. The only issue, thing, I was just against the chief whip of Maspala, who is the current honorable chief whip in the daily base, to undermine Maren. That was my issue. And I know after that he sent a message
via WhatsApp
or hona kuena na tlosa batho mo during your time Mamikuku. I said yes. Ke ne ke tlosa batho mo. So what is the problem? Hana ke tlosa batho mo, what was the problem? Because the problem was to say we want to develop Kasi. And I can stand to any highest court of the land and say that plan is part of the planet. It's not their baby. So because we're going to campaign, I'm going to tell them during the time where we start campaigning after February, I will speak my mind about these other leaders. And I'm going to criticize them politically, not personal.
Personal. Ntate mai opora ke sme ntate o applyetsang di-money bele wa tshwara ntho tsa di-applyetseng re tla ba le hagona nyana at least.
Definitely. Ke se re tlameng re solwanele hona jwale. That is why MK ere mo batho ba hanelwang ho fana ka mobu e le hore ke mobu o rightful wa marena re a kena mo then say Rona, one of our priorities and our policies as MK Gore, the land must go back to the rightful owners, and the rightful owners are the black people. As young as you are, not because once you reach 21, you must have a piece of land. Whether one room, and so on, let it be. Now today, exactly. Today in that now I'm so jealous about Kasiak. Maybe batho ba tshwereng government in bakeng masipaleng abana taba le go batho mo ba phela jwa abana taba le batjha abana taba. We have forever been stuck in few car washes because re tseba fela yani le yani ni dintle. But where are the young people who are owning those beautiful car washes? Le bona ba be le di-size tsa bona tse yang mo. We come in one big nice car wash re le batho ba holo repetetsane re hatana le di-consi. We disrespect each other as young as are tlwele batjha ba be area tsa bona where they sit and enjoy life. You know, isn't stuck kaofela in under one room when to play ke chila simole ke bana ke rona ke batho ba holo ha o sa bona le batho ba holo like batho ba holo more than 60 years who are staying in their own area. These are the recreational facilities that we need. Ke part and parcel ya bophelo, whether ke a bua whether ke bue, but ke part and parcel ya bophelo.
So how do you feel, because now the current municipality batho ba rulang now bale ka ulugisa bale ka the second project kind of the first project in Eli except the first project, but the second project to ulugisa Charles Mopedi.
Man.
You think
these people they are just wasting our energy and time. Yeah, these people, I'm going to tell them at the right time, like I'm saying. But wana na ba tshwereng mo le ntate ke batla o bolella aba bontshe boetapi ba setjhaba. Number 1, Oyamani community hall ya Putedicha.
Oh yeah,
that community hall is my idea. Kore akibatle ke re I don't want to use lentsula right. It's not the right way of speaking. That's my baby. That's my brain. Those are my brains. These people are they were supposed just to complete the projects which were there. Because I was very angry to say, it's a community hall, There is a multi-purpose, it's a community hall. And you do another, not even more than 500 meters away. What kind of leadership are you? And even the directors whom we say kidi specialist, but advisor councillor, you can't have a hall mona. That money could have been converted and do something. Into Freedom Square, we wanted to drive it to something else. It's in the parking they have been sold drugs, banana ba mono ba rape and so on, and nobody's saying anything about those things. Because it can be. It can be. It can be.
Di
tla ba telele ngwana mme, and nna ke ba emotional when I speak about them. Ke ba very touched.
Because you are touched.
Yeah.
And you support the youth there.
You know, ke utlwa bohloko because look, e re go jwetse ntho engwe utlwisang bohloko. La mtseba ntate a uthie hlolang e feta mona ka wheelchair.
Yes. Ya utlwa fete
You know, ke tsampatlele dinepe tsa gale because hola ka Qwaqwa batho ba neng ba sebetsa mane ba mashimane ba le bene re ba groom ba bo Map TV and so on. They were groomed by us. Ba utswa dintho ha bona nako ele no to for Tshabalala tsamaya. I wanted those archives. Nke ke bontshe batho ba Qwaqwa le ba South Africa. Ke ba bontshe snipe some this boy when we changed his life. Ona le jwang. And look at him today. Nobody gives a damn in that leadership there. Because he was amongst those people when they change maphelo. Today ba etsa dijoko yana no utsuba nyaope and so on. That thing must come to a stop. And I'm speaking to the young people. There is no need in school. Problem I know they are going to criticize me and I'm waiting for them. Problem in school, they think they're entitled. No, we must work hard to bring job opportunities. How? We must sit down and engage.
Kana how should the kapoki gatings Monday kapo kimang wa the ANC allowing their jobs in South Africa, but youth journalists at meeting all are you going to youth journalists at meeting the CVs but but submit when you got it.
Bacha ufela but ba submit, I can tell you. I don't even want to comment because I get about politically sometimes when we speak. And
he's over 74 years old. Time to retire and give us.
Ababa to retire and that. No, Ababa. Ibile o ka ititsa yenu ntate ba ka o tsamaela le mo sa tsamaeng batho.
So we were told you worked to develop youth as Pantsolas in your early childhood. How difficult was it to organize them and fund the projects?
Wow. You did the research.
This time. Yeah.
Yo, hey, that program touches my heart. You know, some of us who are Free State, it's because of that program. Yeah, Vusi Pantsola concert. During 2003, we were the first young black people to be given $500,000 by Lord National Letter out of our own business plan. Country Amapanzo. And if you can think of that program from 2003, today, but we never got support of government. Belot, who was the then minister, MEC of Department of Health. Support. Healthy wrongly what we are doing. But you know how our concept document was. We said it cut across all the departments. The Department of Health, from 2003 raised this program. HIV awarenesses must come in. You see how deep we were thinking. 2003. Yes. That's how we were integrating Department of the Department of Sports 2003 if I'm not mistaken in Kusta. I don't know if it was him or, but nobody supported us. And I want to say, and may his soul rest in peace, in that day he was the youth commissioner Kanaguyu in chair at this province. He gave us a letter and supported us. And these are the people now I won't forget. You know, every time I go pelot as a leader, the respect he gave me. Because onampa respect, 2003 to say, I know this young man. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what we wanted to inculcate. You see a young boy, or try to empower, whatever, over two so by saying, it's not because that boy or then you use this voice. I could have done that. So it was one of the best. And we went through, and I must say to Ntatezwane, who was the then the executive mayor district. Yeah, was it the chief whip or Renele Mema Tukwa? I just don't recall. But those people supported us, and the district itself, that district municipality, gave us a car. Thabo Mfutsanyana. Kana ko ene le ntate Selepe. But wa motse ba ene le municipal manager. Ba re fa koloi re tsamaiswa ke ntate ona le teng a dula ka maqhekung ke mo lebetse le lebitso are driver all over. So we had a petrol Kamaspala because we went there that during 2003 and say Rekopa Maspala come on board. How many batjha ba ka di khona ntho tseo ba ka di etsang? But because re na le leadership e na le interest le rata chelete. Hore ntho ngwe le ngwe ke na Maspala o tlamele ba thole motho ke nkgomo ntho nku ha e feta trateng ho sala that's an approach which I hate.
Na le mothala e tshwa even when the government man hane tla betsa re batla bo dintwa rai. In order for you to get some things from especially your municipality, chantse ba bone gore ba benefit. If they don't benefit little matla maha nahana re maluta phofuma.
And this is high time batjha ba mona ke bua ka batjha ba Qwaqwa le ba Free State to stand up and think for their future, because go bolela no hlono ke tlokopana le wena mona na ka, I'm not saying you in particular, tlokopana le wena ka 2035 ke soka ke bona in development. Do you think you will forever respect a leader like me o motsebang o tlo ba le kwale? And it's natural to have yeah. I don't even know 2035 it will be motse kae from now, but ntse re ho tla loka o batho, and that is the other way to seng ke sai batho
9 years
o kopana le motho ngwane so tlo loka. It's no, it must be now. You go to obana rona ga rena le hlono ka ga rena di mine, ga rena di big factories. Obana o ya bo Secunda ke go tseba ho ke bo manka leaf. These young boys, yeah, these young boys ba khona o thola mesebetsi mo na le di shiki di shaft ka pa o thuke dintho tse they are driving polos, their life tsa bona they improve. Kasi mo ha rena mine, ha rena le watle, you don't have an ocean. We are only depending on tourism. I'm sorry, mmuso wa rona o sa tsebeng o tlamele o etseng. I'm saying it under the leadership ya bontate Toto Makunu. As a tourist, we can't be coming here untso tsamaga dipere mona untso advertise o thabetse o hla dinepeng, and then you think that is how you must promote. It can't be. We must make things. Ngwana maybe what's about getting kuka bohloko hlamona le hlonono. No. There was a best golf course, best bontate Mtabumba ba bapala montate Rata and many others. The best golf course amosheba mo lotlo bona na ne qalo bona batho ba jang ditini like eating them ba dikete tsa o la ka bona ntlunyane ne le temo ya golf course ya lo which was built. It's no more, and ba re tlamele re phele jwalo o etsalang ka dikolo hona jwalo. Sheba dikolo tse seng di sna bana ha ba di fe batjha ba mpe ba kene ka mo ha ke tsebe ba etse eng, mara di fedile ndate batho ba inkela masenke ba nka ditini ba lo iketsetsa matlo, and nobody say anything ka ga Qwaqwa. Le ke bua ka di principal, ke bua ka ma teacher, ke bua ka manese, ke bua ka maponisa. Ha ona mohlang re bitsang re ipitsang rona re le batho re tlwele politics and say ntho ne tlamele ye mena hayo o molo mo shebileng phelo ba, and you can't blame people for that.
You cannot. So in our research, we found that you were a businessman.
Yes.
During those times, how difficult was it to be a businessman, and how did you manage your businesses?
Unfortunately, in today's life, and that's why we always caution many business people who wants to be politicians. So, chief, you can't be a politician. You are a business person. You rather advise as a business person, because there will always be contradictions. Or a politician, and look what is happening to the country. There's a serious contradiction between Cyril Ramaphosa and the business fraternity, because Cyril Ramaphosa, president, is a pure business breed about business, and you can't remove that away from him. So look what is happening to the country today. So it was indeed very nice in business. I enjoyed it business until I was recruited by my leaders, Bontate Zwane Msebenzi Zwane, who was the then minister of minerals and the leadership. ban recruit or you are good in this area. None get a sharp with the business and people who know me from Kasi, I don't want to talk about them because I introduce cars disobeying Kasi because can I get a show Rakispana? I must be a motivator. I'm a bachelor, we can do it. So I was doing very well in business. And until there was a jealousy between ourselves and the leaders of the municipality, then and I'm sure by now I would be a serious business person because I was very focused.
If you know Sankar political.
Yeah, if you know Sankar this because can again my time not checking and thinking and but this is what people are saying. This is where you are good. I rather be good fighting for the people than to be good for myself. I don't believe in that.
So would you want to encourage the youth in construction? So since you know the business in had knowledge in construction.
Too much.
So how did you start the construction company? How difficult was it? As we read the news and watch the news, many of our black people were told that they go into tenders because of their political connection. Is it true?
Yeah, it's true.
How did you manage to get the space?
Well, that I also want to thank Ntate Tebo Sikisi. May his soul rest in peace. Who was the chairperson of Chakanagoya youth clique during those times, and he became a leader and became the chair of the youth commission. You must just do research on the youth commission. And during that time, I think 2004. Ntate Joe Mafereka, may his soul rest in peace. That's about South Africa, the Free State. He the own Ntate Wadi takes money Velcomo. MEC. I was appointed as Mucha emitting Thabo Mofutanyana. People don't know that. It was 5 districts. Ntate Mafereka brought a program that said empower women, young women and women, but empower abacha. So na karata Mofutanyana ke kgetwa ke ba bacha ba fueng re ne re fuwe 100. That was my first
100,000.
We were not chosen because of politics. Remember, Youth Commission in Enali, the arm your business. So now I was also a member of NAFCOC for many years. Kabana goes under Temate said, and when that is Patrice Motsepe became the president of NAFCOC, I used to engage Bontate Patrice Bontate Molefe. May his soul rest in peace. Mona Bontate Khumalo. May his soul rest in peace. Hainele Secretary NAFCOC. At that time, our youth president was Piri Mupedi. So we went all over more NAFCOC thing, and I was together with Libonta Tideke Mpele, and it was very nice because at that time that's when the Youth Commission identified me amongst the young people. Not because of political affiliation. If I can tell you, I only joined the youth league when you'll be shocked. In 2002, that was the first time Kinga membership waka kisadula Plugambush. And ngala ko enelintate Moss mayor. He was the councillor during that time, 2002. So I know politics behind everything. Ko Plugambush. So nane ki hirile da 2001, 2002. That's when I joined and Kastata Mara. Nekisi, I was not directly. Nekia fela ka di meeting na rebitsi to na le meeting wa to BGM wa ya fela lo mamela wa tlawatsama. Because I've been in business. I loved business with all my heart. And I was and fortunately araba potso ya ntatwa ka had a construction company. My father ke batho ba le ba gale ba time housing. If it's about time housing during Qwaqwa Development Corporation QDC. Yes, there were many people who were building houses. So my father during that time was part of the contractors. Hanto ya NHRBC starter. Ndatoka ke motho wa pele wa wale ona amongst those at that time. Kore jwale ke bua ka bo 19 I think QDC ke ntwa gale. I think 1991, 1990 if I'm not mistaken, or 1989, 1991. So kana kwe papa ntsa ha matlo mo nna ne ke driver van ya hae. Ne se una nguta o khanna ke khanna ntle le license, which was wrong, but locally. Yes. And ne ke tsamaisa is carefully papa haela ma mistress matlo. And that's how I was into business. In any way, for the people and the sake of the people back across South Africa, my father had businesses. My father was amongst the 10 never pizza cheese boy during those times, and I never believed in those things. So papa nanale di shop. My father was the second person ka Qwaqwa music center. So which was 1983. Music center. Ntate mbabe la mtseba Tshabalala. Kenana na music center ka sitsi man. Monta te tshwaedi ana jaifela teng. Ba tsebang history will tell you. So I used to order the cassette kana go ke mamela bo Miriam Makeba. And the cassette kana go ni di Keneuwe. O sa tlameha mamela na music wa bo Miriam Makeba during the 1985, 84. I was still young, mara ntate wa kona sampile pele you know, you can count from 1977 to Budili Motseno. So I started young in business. The richest, may his soul rest in peace. And many other Tate Tshabalala, who was the owner of Ratanamba Suit, who had a team called Elia Ratanamba Suit. So started more into business until contract and and I took that construction company. Wachinchwa directorship in Tatwaka because high pakana Then I started with Sabele building, and Sabele is my father's name. That construction company, and today I sale Jabulane, who is my brother and he's using that company today to continue his own business because he's into business. So that's how I started business and
so you were now through the tenders.
No.
Doing me a favor, I do you a favor.
And that is why I'm putting a challenge to young people. You know why today you guys are well known? It's because you started this thing.
3 years running.
Do it. One day there will be one person that I need to put my money to these young brains. That's good. Keep up this good work. Nayan Chama, because if I was the mayor, you would have been flying by now.
By the way,
yeah, get more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. How long did you take in construction business? Majority of the constructors are not completing their projects.
Yeah.
We heard across the province that RDP houses were incomplete. Did you manage to complete your work, and how difficult was it completing the construction with the RDPs?
Maybe I must firstly say, I carry MEC wa human settlement. That is Saki Mukwe. And say, ako khutlela morao dilemo tsa morao ke le etsa investigation tsa matlo sa ka ngafe. Surely now I'm not amongst those. I was given 150 houses. Seki di haile money fixed back. After matlo 100. Yaba ki fua matlo 150. Go fix back. I was building 150 houses. Go fix back. So during that time, my brother, it was difficult. I wanna onotla mutere ki spectator. Atlo check out le botale. So ikatile wall plate, ribisa wall plate. Ile udimo le roof no tlamela abare fats mona na Eskom o tlamela o tshwatle the entire. And a chelte no ya cement singile le ditin. Ke how. So it was tough, my brother. You know why never to barata hore ke serious and I can't do the shortcut is because I was cooked in an environment and during that time matlo 100 and you mole whether we enter foundation, if that foundation is wrong, spectator because it was difficult. And when they introduced the engineers from Cuba, and because but they took time about Free State to understand the English at that time during the Demachashule's time. And it was difficult. It was even worse. Because they were actually helping the government get quality assurance. So that is why I believe in Tonzamanate. I believe into the right things. That's why in my times, in my tenure, in the municipality. So it will never happen during my time. But go out to Klobone, Palodi wheel, and it's normal. Normal. So I always wanted things to be done correctly. Shortcuts, no. And if you pull a Goyaga, Kilega about Wamona by Jurim Tagaska, half Ella Maspala also looks coupons alonaga too. Yeah, no, I said it. It's because I was saying let's do the right things first as a municipality. I rather die for the truth than die for fame.
Yes. Because now, but to have a lie, then you have to think of something.
Must be a leader of the people and be able to take decisions.
There is a say and Otto von Bismarck.
Yes.
Probably with your hard work, which areas did you construct? But so the others are not buying necessary tool for the jobs. Yeah. Did you manage to organize necessary equipment as you leave construction? Did you do like Otto von Bismarck, drop the pilot? Yeah, because I about Otto and
yeah, you can for the sake of the people.
Okay. Dropping the pilot is when you are forced to resign. This one is for me to understand dropping the pilot. Politics is ola quota from Bismarck. Politics is the art of possible. Fools learn from the experience. I refer to learn from mistakes of others.
Yes.
So we're now equipments, tools.
Let me make one example, and I'm sure the quantity surveyors would understand me better. Honali equipment that they use there is called dumpy level. I don't know why it's about dumpy level. I don't know what why is that it. No. I like that. I'm saying that example because look, I'm not an engineer. And that time in Elona school gets a project management. I think 2003, 2004. Now, dumpy level this thing what tola ufitla tsileng mo etswa nditse. Motho a emeng ntwe ka reng ke camera ke re bona. And then o mongwe o eme ka thupa ma. It does the level from the ground. I had that in my company. And I was trained to use it. Now, like a traveler as example I had to have equipment because if we are always a foundation your house must be straight because na kong lo hand to mo ikareng wa wela but to tlamele o chike level e ban straight ya get more ntlo ha eme khono ba leveling straight so I'm just citing that example because that is one thing eneki ke thabetse bophilong or banna most of this thing of construction you think go ha matlo fela it's not about that so I had a lot of equipment lento ya stampa mo fatse how it's a foundation you had to have them because we didn't have money. Yes. It's a geotech report. Oh, nice.
Engineer,
wow, no, that's beautiful. Geotech.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's good. And these are the things we need from the young people.
Yes.
Yeah, no. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think those are the things. No, equipment in the one is you can think of and nae utsebenekele to the go-getter. Now na company during my times. It's just that I won't mention all these companies. I went to Brett's where there are many factories. I went to Mpumalanga where there are many factories. In 2003 and you can count how old I was driving alone, speaking to electrical companies. There were many companies in Amtlagas, so I used to supply. So during those times, you had to the lining and the wiring. So anything that had to do with building a house, it's not only the tin, cement, it's about electricity, it's about plumbing, it's about water, sanitation, it's about doing this and that. So at least Naila broadened my horizon in terms of the business, and I could make it because. And you are doing it practically, you want to go theoretically we bale we tsebe, and we like Google ba maybe 2003 were we googling? I don't think so. We used to go and get encyclopedia and check information, or if I want this thing, where do I go to? It was not in Toyano ya Google, maybe nearly 10 in those time, but we never saw the BBT, so we wouldn't. So in 2003, so yeah.
No, have you ever done mistakes, or because now you are living here?
Yeah,
and how did you correct yourselves?
I have done a lot of mistakes. I remember in Tlotsaka 6 in different areas. Neke ha Makong, Matsieng, Litef. Mona ke build a match. La wana Matsieng akirebo. Makong Pla Elizabeth Ross moya. I still see my houses with tse di pentileng ra. Le bana ba ka ja ba jotsa ke nna na hantlo e ngwana ka ke nna na hantlo. It's so nice. 6 houses that's a tlameha di tshwatluwe, because one problem ya rona young people and maybe Africans how tala of what tender maybe before it's a profit what reka kolo while track I don't know social how so kalele span how so it's can't you profit ya how you're not 400,000 or kilo kolo is your profit. And now it means profit, you must get it after completing the work. Now you get the profit when I was on Soja shelter stock only before Kalaspan. So those are our mistakes. I think next time I don't know if you know range, Fort Range. It's chrome. Yeah, chrome is silver. Yagama is diamond black. And you can imagine 4 liter that car. That was my mistake. I bought that car. And I thought kikeni in that kingwana mnyane kivaga Fort range. Yes, Fort range. We can see kiatsiba limona kasuna lenta tanza tsamaka yona yo. Ikarengi blue chain ebetsanga di chrome lima bidimo. It's beautiful. So those are our mistakes. Buy a car, also kalele spani, car moma tukia wa builder wa chwatla. And look, I cannot work at a social life. Let's not talk about them. We do mistakes in social life. And some hoodies at some points our aim. In life you have to consult whatever will before certain things you do.
Before you buy a car.
Yeah.
Atubana that do bad advice. I like got out to NS first 1.5 man.
Banana lata kolo.
So sit ya cruiser arrive. But the dela cruiser. Better pro. They have to let about 25 so.
Why was a highly more one at least I get a room one.
I didn't happen baba since ba le correct so I know. Altariana chantilibesi. Chantilibesi. Tekelebe tata fulanya. So did you join any political party before joining the ANC? And how did you manage to move into politics from being a member to a leadership position? ANC Youth League to ANC Mara body, because others say it is difficult to do that level that you did. They have member for a long time but not getting the opportunity to lead. ANC what they call it through the eye of the needle. Did you make it through the process? Become a member 5 years, 6 years, then we are to the leadership side. We now getting fella worry 2 years, then you went back position your leadership. How did you go about?
Well, maybe let me go back to was it a conference at Stellenbosch? What? Kana go no ile batho ba baholo. And the only conference it gets one or like a contributor mona high so mona ntse ke le business ke thusana le baetapele. It's when President Jacob Zuma won the Polokwane conference. That was 2007. Going back to early 2000, 2001, 2002, I was an ordinary member. I supported Mokhatlo Niwa Heswe ko rata ngenze ko rata. And that's why I can remember Qwaqwa Kunkileka 2001.
So you see any politics? Okay.
In fact, Keneuwe, if you can check, I was working for marketing company in Joburg. 2022. I was a senior consultant until Kibali brokerage ba. Nikinale brokerage ba ka. How regular medical aid Keneuwe ubali buka ya the clients. So as long as those clients are still in your book, ubali chelto we bizonga or service fee that you get. Yeah. So then after that, then I went on my own to start a business because I started as a marketer. And when I joined politics, I never had interest. And that's why I go pula in my first interview lo ena kila ka bua ka mkhotsi wa ka enele ona ratana le politician. Now he had to understand the politics because o tlo ha vaya le motho wa mo ile politician when I was o kokela le di stress le go mangwa motella mang mentseng, so you end up being acquainted with the politics. So out here interested. So Uchaka sticks when we started this thing together. Nentsakele kgwebo ne rana brokerage le ba medical aid mo e Bethlehem building it man ka udima net bank I bo mo of tla Bethlehem ne gana le di office tse ithumo for almost 2 years. So ke ena mthala nkgothaletsa mfetwa tseba ke hi Charlie ne go bitsana bo Charlie Charlie, we have to go to politics when you are good there. You know, people will always say that ke re mana ke good jwana ona mfetwa politics ba tla mthatswana lo, you'll make it. That's when I became a politician. I joined. Now, president of the youth league by that time, Latsibanele Malema, Julius Malema.
Yes.
I was
for ANC.
Yes, in the youth league.
Yes.
And people don't know I was the supporter of Malema during the youth league. They used to be in my camp. I used to be in their camp. Marage Pela Free State, Lebo Floyd and others. And during that time, we took a decision. And President Malema Ganagoya Youth League, Polare, we must swell the ranks of the ANC as young people. That's when some of us became the chairpersons of branches. Akabuaka branch, Akabuaka ward. Audula ward 27. Ward ki the language that is used for government. Ki district, ki ward. Ronaga monaga politiki, ki region, ki branch. So that's when I became in the true sense. I still remember our AGM, annual general meeting, ilabaya shaiswa TV mo kana go tsabo Sibego enele SABC ga a hlaisa taba tsa gona holo ho bentate ho kgethwa batjha banka over those were plans le bo Malema during that time. And that's how one became. But before that, I was a member of the ANC Youth League branch. I became the secretary for 2 terms. The 3rd term, I became the chair. So, negele ex officio in terms of the constitution. Ki Kennedy meeting in the BEC, Yamada body. And Gibuela Bach, I still remember Hobale project, RDP houses in my ward. Negidula, Nenzegele Riverside, I get ward 25. Kapamunga mano, Hauamat. Kana go yo ne re buela batjha ka di set aside, this thing ya di set aside or percentage iteng ye batjha nna ke itseba from 2003 to 2002 when I was still kana go nentse ke le monyane. It doesn't mean I ke sebeletsa the business people ke le marketing. I was still young. Remember constitution in ya gona less than 35 youth. From the age of is it 12 years to 35. So I was still youth during that time. So we fought, my brother. Young people 6% ngana go eno and ba ke ena ba tshara projecting re bua le mkhanselara kana go eno le ha o hira re batla o hire batjha. We want you to hire batjha because I get what ntho tsa setšhaba, everybody ula hlela body ID ntho tsa di food mara re jetsa setšhaba mono 6% ke ya batjha. So we used to fight for young people and we understood why we fight for young people, but as a slogan into the young people are the future. And now slogan. It is the future, my brother. That's why I got 75 years. asa batle go resign government ing dutse da batle next he rather come to politics and fight for the people yaba atlwele the young people because uthule kene ha ba qetela ba tlo experience ya 5 years o tlo nka ka experience ya 5 years o qetile degree o sa fuwa chance
ile bona na lore ba retire they change titles
when now you have done your research man.
What happened education say ba le soleng ai botsa mothage ka le soleng yena ba you see
my brother it's South Africa today but we need to change that.
Yeah, it must be changed.
President Traore has said it. We must follow him. Ibrahim.
Yeah, change. So, can I let the which say 50 So, when did you become? After how long did you become the chief whip? You were once the chief whip
Of the municipality.
Yes.
Yes.
How long did you take you over to the chief whip?
Well, yeah, fast forward 2012, remember 2011 in early local elections? That was my first participation fully. Because when we won local elections. And I think in 2011, already I was a regional executive committee. Yeah, ANC kana go say. So
yes.
Yeah. So from there, then when I became the chief whip, I was also the member of the region. Then when I became 2013, I became Majoro, and I was already the deputy chair, if I'm not mistaken. No. I became the deputy when in 2015. Then I became the deputy chair of the region. Before that, I was an ordinary member and an RWC member of the region. Thabo Mfutsanyana. Thabo Mfutsanyana ke region ke district e go. Yeah. In la lead ward is 98. Yes. Yes. Phumelela, Sitsoto, Mantsopa, Nketwana, and ourselves Malut.
And then you became the mayor.
Yeah, in 2013 then I took over from Mesa Ramoleleki. I lenga redeploy. I saw man in legislature in the parliament. And I became a chief whip just for a year. Yamaspala ona warona where I was a council whip. Remember na chief whip na council whip.
So how do they choose the Highland Club? Now we want this person to be our mayor. You go under process and do you vote or is it about?
Well, I can say it does start from voting in terms of the leadership of province. Remember, organizationally, every organization, whether being EFF, whether being, I don't know about the DA, whether being other political parties, structure called provincial executive, and then okay, Maspala three candidates. Remember to yeah, they're suitable for the job. Then discuss but no, we want a young person. Ultimately, after the debate. If the debate they are on loggerheads, then it means that the vote will have to transpire. And then people must then vote for names. So, but during that time, the leadership under the leadership you had to engage until we understand that while about this one. Some of us we were deployed there, recently experienced. At least we acquired experience when we were the chief whip. That 1 year, because the mayor accounted to me as a chief whip, the municipal manager, the speaker, because he whipped. That's the rationale behind being a chief whip. Yeah, or no, but I don't see development. I don't see you empowering young people. I don't see you building bridges for that. So how chief whip sometimes because you'll just be a chief whip by virtue of your title. So that's how then I became I became chief whip, and then I be ultimately the
so onale concept etilaka kopana le yona mona whereby bare let's say for instance you are a chief whip, then o na le mayor, and then wena re tla anyone o tla wena hore okay, I have this idea, this, but e hloka funding. And then as part ya municipality, do you have power ya hore o ye o tla industrial mona industrial batho ba hloka ntho e so will you fund them? It's a magadi position as chief whip o ka khona ho ya mono o kopentweno ho the local and to business or mothana le mmatla o etsa ntho ke mayor fela, because ba re ho shejwa mayor hore ha motho na una business tlo yo a tseba ha itho ke mayor go tsho mayor tsa tla mfa tender tse ding. Is it true or ke le shako ntho e jwalo concept
ke tsotsa di thata hlone? You know, well let me answer them. Look, the principle dictates. It's one and two principle. Now principle ya maspaling before ke ya molao, we can go to Systems Act, nalwe, we can go to Structures Act, we can go to the regulations and redumelana or mara constitution e ke the Systems Act, the Structures Act e ke tjena, Municipal Finance Management Act e ke tjena. So we etsa jwang? For an example, when you are the mayor, the System and the Structures Act says the executive mayor or the mayor identifies the needs of the community. Ke legislation, ke molao. Now, where does the chief whip come in there? How na chief whip etla tso bese rena ke identify le, but principle e ke buang ka yona ke ya hore the chief whip is the whip of whipper. O tlamela botse majoro o identify le. So indirectly the chief whip can also come in that meeting and say major ke bone project e money, because nothing stop, principle doesn't dictate. Sorry, the chief whip must also go out there and identify, oh mara udisa homa by law major. So they must agree. Project and it will be up to the mayor. Like for an example, when I was the mayor, can I tell you most of the project le batho ba twisting hasibatho when nna ke reng ke balatile direct baba utle chief whip ya kana kwe utle speaker ga utle le council, ordinary councilor on the Tshabalala executive mayor hona le ngwana tjena kai ke kopa o tlo mothusa. You see how ke working together. Yeah, but so I wanted just to clarify that thing already. The chief whip can just decide or not kilo is a project basi ba di etsa matsatsingana go matsatsingana so rojwa molao.
That's why I about the. So we believe that the ANC has equipped you with the knowledge of politics. So how was it, and what did you experience? What experience did you inquire from the ANC before they are empty?
Well, many things. For an example, I've got 4 modules that I passed go OR Tambo schools. A school of university school ya rona le ya Tshabalala ke OR Tambo. Those 4 modules, they were saying how on total leo ba le councilor, you must have those 4 modules, knowing the history of the ANC government and leadership development and so on. So at least fortunately ke ile sekolong se no ka pass. I've got those 4 modules because ke school of registered, accredited now. And accept that because that came lately. Before that, you in ANC during that time, ANC itla ruta 2%. I mean, itla ruta 1%. 99% otla bona o ithuta jong. During those times, it was difficult, but the ANC had time to train us.
Members. Wow.
Train. Only trainees of trainees you go to, and more of training the doctors, people who are learned, academic wise, and the experience of running government is not easy.
Yes.
If we engage during the time of TLC, that transformation in 1994 to convert to it was tough, and you had to know and remember not only the white paper Structures Act, green paper, and people had to understand Milawina. That is why today it's a joke. And I still remember in our last interview, some of us we were trained by real comrades. Jihad Mahapi, may his soul rest in peace. Kana kwe anegele chief whip ne renge jangana kwe no hotu. Mara chief whip wenam responsibilities they are not legislated. It's true. Chief whip yesenga gamela le melawa. You understand what I'm saying? You go to the municipality the current chief whip orna. Which pieces of legislation that regulates the chief whips? No one. But by virtue of a setup, a organogram drawing where the chief whip must be there. What managa in? That's why Hulabalin to cancel whip, because they were trying to accommodate it legally. Because you are a chief whip of a political party. And out of it, I cancel also now is a chief whip, you're just an ordinary. So these are the things that we fought for, and Rabatla or Malao or Ting, or how can I structure sect, how can I system sect, man to powers and functions of chief whip, Kappa cancel whip kids. So Fumana was Hadi on that, the Malao will till today, but in the but if you go to the legislature, at least legislatures they try to transform, because how the policies that within the government gazette, the gazette how your national assemblies they say, mara how ya maspalenki dololo. So it means nalbat whenever you do let's moon basa it's msebizi what la melemba it.
And I get you go la sa to na share my beauty go hey ka mal gava man yey dieta. But anyway, you were a member of the were you a member of another political party besides the ANC?
Unfortunately, I've always been the member of the ANC. Maybe Pakabua felt like the PYA structures. You know, we used to be members of COSAS. Then from COSAS, then we joined the youth league. So, unfortunately, I member I never joined Marabu Papa Batwamo and the Bomama. So some of us
many leaders left the ANC and joined other leaders who formed their political parties, and you also left Wataka, the MK party. What made you leave the ANC for MK party that was formed just months before the last national elections?
You know, the inconsistency and the way the leadership, the current leadership of government in the province, being local municipality and province, balling inefficient decisions. Some of us we had to say, Mara, why should we be in these organizations when these people they can't take this? In fact, these people currently that they'll show no about swearing, but revisit the gains of our struggle. But who says Amara? Men Gabla Tsengata. Those about the Triple PF Act, preferential point system 2080, but what la mele ba benefit locally. Lento ya di set aside ya 40%. Is it no recently? I mean 30%. Those are the gains of our struggle. And you know what Freedom Front and many others did? They went to government and say, black BEE, black economic, what? You know what? Because they're blacks first. The white people, then because we are the citizens here. And we were the majority people who vote. So that is why the president of my political party, President Jacob Zuma, says, "Aguna democracy. Where is democracy there? Our own president, and El Sabah Buagayo, El Sabah conversate and debate about it. President Jacob Zuma was arrested, praised without a trial. Because President Zuma, nobody will talk about it. And nobody will realize nonsense. It's nonsense. How do you arrest a person for some of a fair trial? la o ka tuko o shapile ka mpa ma ke tlo tshwarwa mara the following day ke tlamele ke kae court lo mpotse mo o shapela motho ka mpa ma batho ke gona o fana ka mabaka ka no it was a self defense court ga mara ro tholo le mona mara mone uwe zondo commission. Let me tell you what pisses me off with this government. I was the chief whip of the legislature of the Free State. And I was the chair of a portfolio committee called PROPEC. And what's what PROPEC again? Is Scopa. But at the level of the province. Non-financial and financial issues. Why did you spend 100 million? We spend it. Give me the proof and what. We took certain decisions, and let me tell you, PROPEC, in fact, the committees are legislature, the powerful. They derive their powers from the Constitution. If you go to Section 114, Section 115, Section 116 of the Constitution, that's where the powers of those portfolio committees reside. O tsebe mo le ga o create le offense o sa tla le portfolio committee nyaka ke imprisonment ntwe molao o tsho jwalo wa mo o tlo ke reng ngwana and o ka se tshware motho fela o tswa mo re ngola lengolo hore this person o robile molao ra mosamona ka para mosapuna ha tla re mosapune re o robile molao ke mara molao mane go ha o sa tlo before the committee you must be arrested and then a tswa mo se ke ngolla provincial commissioner wa maponisa kere mema mamang ha tshware motho it doesn't work that way even if the law says this person must be arrested but there must be a fair trial so I'm trying to say to you those are the things that in say kwatisitseng ba bambaro we are not jealous people think ba re petty people think ba re bua ka emotions we are angry now I've never cried for a position of a political party mamela as a servant you are deployed there now I knew that I was deployed as a mayor. That's why I personally resigned. Voluntarily, Kare, I resigned. Because I knew I'm not permanent there. Why but walela ditulo gana balela bumajuru wakana gana baitsa walu wada canceling.
They want power. People
want financial power, not power. They want financial power because we can distinguish financial power. But why patala chelete or na ke le mona ke a tsuba ke tlo thola chelete tse
like say it next
we can engage around it but if you go there as a servant you will be like Ndate Zuma people undermining mara nakitse baba and he smiles every day he just laugh mina and the same thing that is happening with Burkina Faso today president o nna ke tlo e gola chelete a ke batle. That's the president. The president said, I don't want that money. You understand? Mara u deserve a package so by president. So this is what our own president have sacrificed. When people thought President Zuma is doing this and that, but it was a campaign. It was a campaign, and it was orchestrated from the media level to whatever level. It was a campaign.
So as we work a financial power now, kapaka power. When do you like power or financial power? Yes or no?
Hey, you are putting me on the spotlight. Well, people will always say, but warata power is. Before you look, there is no such a thing that we like power, but you must know how to use power. You must know how to use power, and I happen to be that person who knows how to use power. And that is why when I became the mayor, the first thing that I needed to know was my powers and functions. Before I needed to know where my power resides, constitutionally and legislatively. And our Systems Act and Structures Act is there. Powers and functions of the executive name. And then there are also those powers that you must be delegated by council. Once you have an absolute power. But you know power, that's another thing. Meaning you are a mayor, you are executive mayor, but you are always being told by officials.
Oh, don't go to that interview.
Yeah.
Go to this one.
You have been told only executive mayor or mayor. You have been told by accounting officer called municipal manager. He tells you what to do. It means you are the mayor. How do you be told by any? Because those powers are legislated. And they don't supersede. Powers are accounting officer, the supersedes are MA. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't know how to, where your strength is. So unfortunately,
controlling.
Yes, they'll always control. So that is why then you have to know power. The same power ya go lo lekisa batho, lo arresta batho. When you arrest batho because you are a president, you arrest wrongly. And you think you have absolute power. It's absolute power because democracy mona hai mona etsala ka tsela e wrong.
Okay, it's quite clear. So in the ANC, you were in the leading position. Now you are OMK.
Yes.
What is your position for MK?
Green, black and gold blood. My position is I'm currently the provincial secretary. Ke nna fuwe mohau le monyetla ono wa hore ke be mongodi wa the entire province called Free State.
Okay. How many leaders did you find go MK positioning you le yona kapa wa point to a position e hlokahala?
No, there was a leader before me, Comrade Foko, who is the current member of our seat. Legislature. So he was the coordinator before, because coordinators were also secretaries. So nanzale mo gifitle ba le teng and hona any other person ingering after that the Foko ela ba yena. So I was then appointed in on the 24th of February ka 2025.
Okay. So now as we've seen hore on MK the Mr. Zuma you change the positions. I think why the conference whereby positions are changed, like now change the positions, like, and don't you think now you will find yourself change your position like fell as well?
Well, as a servant, I should be ready for that, because I believe that in any organization or howly servant, nanaga se soto re servant again. Murumuwa kapa imba. Yes. If ule servant ule murumuwa, you can't expect to be there unless mhlomona le munati nyana wa tsukire wa mayad notes idayo la usabata abantu ba tasted. Now President Jacob Zuma, my president, unale di powers tseo a di fuweng ke constitution ya umkhonto wa sizwe. He appoints ebile hape aka tlosa motho at any given point, so we don't discuss it. And what I know about my president, he will never take a decision as informed. Whether people say whatever, he is one person who takes an informed decision. I'm telling you the honest truth that he's one person who takes. So if you don't only mistake his audience, he's one person who listens to all the sides of the coin. Before making any decision, this is what we need to do. So those are the issues. Well, some of us we are not worried. We are not because the president said afumane freedom in South Africa.
So why Highland MK is so huge for KZN than any other provinces?
Unfortunately, in every life, whether I buy animal farm, whether I buy the portfolio, there is always a territory of the beginning. If President Jacob Zuma happened to stay in KZN, can not expect delay. He will definitely a territory where he comes from. He preaches the gospel before Yagan. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that formula. It happens everywhere. That is why in the Free State today I'm being criticized by many comrades. Facebook kapa. Ra ushebile Qwaqwa fela. Ushebile I'm staying here. So ha ke tsoa. It's about the challenge someone and people will think okay it's mona fela. No, I'm forever into other areas. I go every day. So the same thing that we are saying, President Jacob Zuma ke motho wa setjhaba o phela mono. So boholo ba nako he's forever in that area. Mara ha o ka sheba mona wa Google, he's all over South Africa.
Yes.
He will never prioritize one area over. Udi etsa equally mona ke tsebe Qwaqwa ke show sa tle habedi if I'm not mistaken. And he still wants to come. So batho ba shebileng ba provinces tse ding ba ka bana ana hore e ka re o tla Qwaqwa fela. I mean Free State fela. And it's not like that. O tla ha invite wena ona le program.
And again, I've heard already, mostly when Mr. Zuma atla, o rata ho tla bareni.
Yes.
But why?
Well, remember, principle dictates. The principle dictates that culture ya rona na le wena, the traditional customs tsa ka le wena gore o tlamelo lo boka dikgomo before you go to any area. For an example, when I was the mayor, ninke ke ka ya voting ya Tsheseng e sa lo dumedisa morena ba ba Qwaqwa e leng morena Montwedi. It's principle, it dictates or you have to go. So there's no way that even Leana President Cyril Ramaphosa has to do that. Because fitlika ka province and tulongo yang we ona bo tona le morena go sai fela ulo boka dikgomo, then it means you are not recognizing chapter 12 of the constitution that talks about the traditional leaders and the Khoisa.
Okay. So hanetse ke tsa researches tsa MK. I found some co-founder. The MK is not registered with the IEC. It's registered with CIPC, Jabulane Khumalo. So is it true or when I don't know Katara?
Well, I have to be inclined to get information MK. Unfortunately, I happen to know the story. And because I'm a leader of the province, I'm a member of the National High Command, which is our highest decision-making body in the country. So, unfortunately, I don't know whether should I call him Comrade Khumalo, Ntate Khumalo, Ntate Khumalo. I think he's still in his dreams. And yes, of course, he happened to be a member, but he's no more a member. Well, he wants to speak his own mind because unfortunately, Chelet is in Telephants. People ba rekwa that. I'm one person as a rekwang, and people I know they don't believe me. But now how we moli but wamo ba ufile Chelet. Do you think ngabekele Qwaqwa mo? Not me, not my lifestyle. If you know my lifestyle,
What is?
I can't. I wouldn't be here.
Yes.
Now, but what on that? And Bontate Khumalo, they happen to be people giving money to think or about that destroyer, the MK party. Unfortunately, Ulaya Koto, Ushulei. Unzabuan Tozadi Buang, Ushulei. So let's give MK a chance. And the MK is the Umkhonto weSizwe, that we know.
So what's your intake when they say like MK party is a family business?
Nonsense. And I want to repeat it, it's nonsense. And then man you know, it's not like I say Facebook comment and people think we are I don't know if I may put it that way. You know, if we have to talk about President Cyril Ramaphosa, Lebanaba and everybody will be shocked. If we have to talk about Ntate Mantashe, and we tell you Manaba benefit into this government, and offer that hierarchy, and no person will say Cyril Ramaphosa we enter South African family. Manaba benefit into businesses here, and many families are, but nobody's saying that. But because President Jacob Zuma, they were taught and told or you must make noise. Let's a little rata little batho. How about Samaya Mona? But say or Tate Jacob Zuma ha right. Our own president today who told millions of dollars live. Mara because higher spin on to into media everywhere, Konenkai out, pala. President Dalona Yense, he was protected. It's fine. Maraganda de Zuma, every little thing, Utamelo knows all right. He happens to be the president of Umkhonto Wesizwe, and he is, and he will still remain the president until he decides otherwise. Until he decides otherwise. He will remain the president, and little honorable respect as such. I'm one person, and I want to repeat this thing. I'm one person who support and who's very close to Manabahai, isn't close to the I know them, I can phone them. But for the reasons to Qwaqwa. And that is why I also want to talk about Tutuzani as a comrade and tell you ukasi deny banabanda de Zuma urigima comrade just because in that ubori nepotism in yetsuwa umuntu to hey how sebeza government thing how government is white people who just made us to think of that thing and how ya bona makhuwa by he running
yes
and hauna muthamuthu abuya next but wabathu wan skolo mba rutwen skwa u jwetsa ka nepotism undertake nepotism mara high study I research okay mara kam rabe e fapaneng in this country ba bona jole nanga o fa report o ka tshoa ka o bontsha ka Fanton region o sebetsa man department ya education e re go bontsha bana ba kene ka into government. And nobody will say nepotism. Nobody. Not any black person would say it. Today, because I told them, it's wrong. It's so sad, eh?
It's very sad. So, Reda Bonabana how Safara than you by Kenya positioning by because of nepotism.
Mara wins in Donald Trump. Mwana soga iba minister. Mwana soga iba minister, like minister of government. Just Google it and search. And nobody saying anything. Nothing wrong with it. And nobody will ever say it.
Trump tabazaile na dingatanya no tsibanga ile ke to bojela ke a bona kana kwa go la
Isaile
tuma ne ke re twe kena Trump hanyane go so the community of Map was buying electricity like Kalamano and the Eskom debt was not high. Is it true?
When I left municipality, yes. The debt yaro nagana kwele antatelo ke samgati ibile modimo la mo hopola o twinki Bravin Gordon. Ne ke bua le ena Chyna FairyTale when he was the Cocktown minister. Ka issue ya debt ya Eskom. Kana go ye nna ke ne ke le mone enele 1.7 billion. I think when I left it was almost 1.89 billion. 1.89. Nobody will ever say it. Vusi na khona jwang. But because people were giving money and that media wakana kwe makashule asimotho, Vusi asimotho. Bana bareng radical economic transformation must happen for a black child. We must deal with them.
So what's your intake when they blame you? Because mostly it was during
my tenure.
Yes, Vusi's time whereby electricity is adapting. They talk like 6 billion, 8 billion during your time. What's your intake? How it shows all about when I know it is not true.
Sometimes I so wish to correct these people. I was tempted to begin to fit and ever in the history since I was taught emotional intelligence. On Facebook. Maybe my mind was not okay. I've never answered anybody anyway. Now a person are it's blue lines. When I left the municipality, between 1.8 million and 1.9 sorry, billion. Can na get sama. So gains and in 6 billion. When did I do the 6 billion? So that's why but like no, there are people now that were given what to say about myself. On the media, social media platforms. But no, le maspale mona ba fuwa di chelete gore ba ne ba bue mo poto because ba create the false social media whatever bentse ba ibuela ntho tsa bone because they must influence the mind of our people. Di kelelo tsa batho ba borona ba tsebe re jele chelete ya dipontsho, batho ba borona ba tsebe re jele chelete ya eng, go ne re sebedisa dipontsho for iketsetsa chelete. Sheba o etsalang ka di artists today, ba batla batho ba dile ba ya di cherry festival, batho ba senye chelete batho ba ye kantle. Qwaqwa must not have anything. People must begin to wake up.
Youth development.
Yes.
And you've done it. When what did you do during your time car youth development?
Well, when I was talking to one of the I think a week before last, I was talking to one of the DJs or one of the artists. I'll remember the name. And I said, you know, the moment that touches my heart is when Oskido came to court. It's a hall of 4,500 youth.
Yes.
Kalawa Jesme.
Kalawa. I believe. Oskido,
you know, those are the networks we have. It's already created during our time when we were not the sleeping mayors. I went from Qwaqwa Kelokopana le Rebecca Malupe physically one-on-one. Because government is an instrument. It sing Kitabelo Palama Blue Lamp I don't drive Jojo as a mayor. You don't say such things. And Rebecca Neredumelan. And that thing was supposed to be processed as a supply chain process. Or Mamela Meribek. Kile Vusi Tshabalala. Kibata utlo for the artist it's a 50. In 6 months. Even it's not possible. Utlo for the artist it's a 50. You must Ubagenya studio saha. He's got the biggest studio I've ever seen. I went there physical. Kile majuro. I went to Oskido. You know, Hakibuale. We supported him in Devon. What's about the program? They wanna be the DJs in the whole country at the hostel at Devon. What's about Maluta Pufine contributor Romo? 25 DJs we used to take to that program. And we were the only municipality, only in the whole country, any support of that program. Reba Patala, Banaban, Roba at the hotel for a week. Reba Batala transporting. Where are those DJs today? Today, but Babata is ring jealousy for black coffee. We could have created our black coffees Kanakwe. And a black coffee Kanakwe Nasuka about leveling a little. That's the jealousy mona about Wakasi. Go and ask him. How many DJs by sits away? Go and ask him. Don't ask me. I'm giving the South Africans an opportunity about Qwaqwa. How about Skido? Libabutale Rebecca. Or Rebecca and Tatoka Ponabua Mashanuna. You can imagine where would we be today? That's about fella binisili simba nasa gospel. Say one. Say la nasa support the government. It can be. There must be many of those. Tebo Muloi. We supported Tebo Muloi 101% to where he is today. And what say Tebo Muloi must replicate himself. We tried. Young people babina di gospel monarere hareza di imbizo. You know, I used to fight le supply chain ya mo maspali. Erego bulela ho tla sumezi ona fuwa buga isomezi. Kana go 170,000. Ka appearance.
One day.
Ising letsatsi. The hours ale mo 3 hours. Because he's an official trained choreographer and a qualified one. You can't say no. Mara how re tlong o bitse mamang ke thabo mang kana khiba kapa motlong abinang ore kena mona motona ha hampinele ha ke lo bona scha mo fem 10,000 supply chain. What is 10,000 when you want to create and support the young people? Ko jwetsa ka monna yona wa wheelchair ne re leka di 5,000 ha re lobini mara chelete on that ho no to ke phoso mara ko jwetsa because we wanted to have our own artists and to have our own choreographers. Ke manga itseng ke Jozi ke yona fela e tlameleng e be le di choreographers le di artists re hlolwa ke mabopane Northwest. May his soul rest in peace. Hip hop Pantsolas, Double HP. I used to love the man, the boy. Eh? O go shaba Maftown. O shaba ke bona ba tshwereng that gauta ele ka music ka e. Bo Casper, o tswa ka.
Maftown.
So why can't we have our own Maftown here? Ka Free State Qwaqwa in particular. Banna ba le ba Durban le ba bitsang kana. Durban's finest. Why can't we have our own?
Qwaqwa's finest ko na bana ga.
But when I carry alone a little artist, but it's fine. You are wonderful. Oh wonderful. I know. I get a sompa. Jesus.
Now we are looking at Limpopo. Current, even now I think they get funds now.
Yes, from their own government.
From their own government, because the wave is there. And their songs are there. But the government, I think, has to support our artists as much. So, as Qwaqwa taking artists to the bed, allegedly there was a time whereby Qwaqwa took elderly people. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's true. Elderly people to the bed.
It's true.
How did you choose elderly people to the
It's true.
And when they came back, there were no food, there were what?
But why is what you know how many Bonolo today but who wants still to go? Let me tell you what pains me. I want mashano nkwatisa. And mashano nkwatisa because ki ona ketele se ka reng ke need. Wa bona batho ba haeso mo ke ba rapidisa every day on the temdim go ba fahlolle renkile Bonolo and a kana go tseo ke shone re nka 222 kapa ne re nka 555 each ward makansela ka bona le ba kgetha Bonolo ba. I was not choosing Bonolo. I said ke le Vusi Tshabalala ke batla Bonolo ba bua mashano ngwana mme ka Sesotho a hona batho bana ba sa tshwara hantle jalo ka ba if uno ka bona Bonolo ba because batho ba re ne re bankile nearly the best 7 if I'm not mistaken in the entire Maluta perform if uno ka bona Bonolo ntate ba kene le watle ka di onoroko no ka lla di gapa because Bonolo na o yotsa gore ke qala o bona le watle Bonolo wa 70 years Bonolo wa 84 years Bonolo sa tsebeng o tsamaya wa almost 89 years are ngwana ka ke qala o bona le watle and utlo kwa pelong ya I needed to do it. It was my constitutional right and my it was my constitutional right because nationally vested power, so I must identify the need of the people and I gonna go need enna ke bona ka maqheku kore ke eng to government e etsa maqheku ba se ke ba re thetsa ba re na shelter pay ke yona ba kula ka Sesotho. It's a must. Shelter di pension ke must. It's not the ANC issue kapa EFF issue kapa le DA mo tshwereng teng ko Midval ha bene le go to ba fana ka di pay ke pay again. It's a government issue. Ha ANC re qeta o etlosa phaweng it will be an issue of government ha etlo ba issue ya rona re le MK hore re ba fem pay. It's a government issue. Pay tlo dula le teng forever. So le nna ke bone o le bohlokwa gore Bonolo re ba ise mono Durban because ha ba tsebe le watle. Can I ask you one jwan ihlono but what's amale bona bala ka ba Durban? No ke re batho botsa male bona sing media team o tsamale ba bang ko scan
yeah
some ha ba so ihlono ke tsamale motho mo mona ne ke kala ke ne ke utlwe bohloko last week ya go qala o ya Bloemfontein ihlono ke tsamale every day ke le commemorate mona leader wa tsama nna qala o tla Blom ke raibo. So is it wrong when we take people to the ocean? Baba holo re Bonolo batho bana ba jele tje ba fuwe dikip ba ile le lebitleng la Shaka Zulu le mo Shaka Zulu ana hlapela teng in terms of the history ha ono ka bona bonkgono ba kene mono ntate ba ke mo Shaka na le teng ba gadi tlama da you will cry tears my brother. So now I don't go for these stupid things since di bua ke batho ho tu re jele tšhelete bonkgono amona. When was that? I'm sure it was 2015.
I'm not sure.
Yes, 15. O tlo bua ntwa 2015 tlo e bua no tje o re ho tshone re says why bonkgono ba bona ba sa tla ba lla he mohlomong ba lla ka bonkgono ba bantse ba batla ho ya mo and nna ke tlo etsa as long as our government we take over this government will forever do it and batho ba ske ba jealous ba so yetsa ntse ba le busy ba khanisa bana ba mang dijojo won't do it ona re will do it
ba bona ba khanni dijojo
yes.
Next
the next
while people are waiting for water. So you had a trip where you go China as the mayor, and allegedly they said that the former Free State Premier cancelled it. What was the purpose of the trip? Was it going to benefit the community, or was it just your vacation as the mayor at that time?
I think that research is very wrong. Yeah, it's a poor research. The only time I returned from the airport is when I was going to Cuba. I went to China for 12 days. I went to Beijing, I went to Guangzhou, I went to China. I went to Beijing, and what else? I went to many areas with the then premier. Go to China, you know, things that I was trying to employ here is the things that I imported them from China. That's why re ne re lwanela tsela ena ntate Hlonono ya fundraising. Why wanna entry? If it ang Smith. I'm part of the people who were at the forefront bar I tsamaye tsela. And President Jacob Zuma was the only president to hear us. Tsela ena entry o ska thetswa ke bana. No tlamele e pota ka mora wa day. Uno tloetsa langa Smith. Ne tlo ba spook haze.
Yes.
Koloi tse ngata ngata tso di bonang di kena Bergview man tse ngata di kena ka ga Smith. Ona hana ngabe di feta mo. We are benefiting from that road. Those are the economic issues re batlang go di bua. Iseng magana jojo. We want to speak economy and why we don't want the entry to move there. And why we want to fight to Nestle is ka ba tsamaya ka ki bana na Boxmo e tsamaile why le sa research ka ntho. You know how many people lost your job from Boxmo? Boxmo was the only plastic manufacturing company kamo in the Eastern Free State. How about the bottle tsena tse kenyang di drink? But when what Cape Town ba to dilata Boxmo in Siam. But nobody will tell you about that. You know who said Boxmo must not go? Was Tshabalala. What happened after Tshabalala tatatsama Boxmo went out. Hona mthatla bua ka. Because the people knows the only truth ya bona ke ya go ba bua mashano ba re bonkgono ne ba lla ka 2015 kona ba llang ona jwa 2 ba re ke khutlile airport ke ne ke ya China. They are lying and I know where does that information come from and I can tell you who's the man behind it. He's one of the councillors there, I can tell you, and high ranking person, because o sebetsana le ka di voice note o bua mashano batho because ona ana bua ka di voice note batho ba mo mamela o tseba o bua. And I will remind that chap ke tlo mo hopotsa no a re qala di campaign ska re jwetsa ka gore wena o no le teng mehleng ya gale mmuso ona kwa mamang ene wena o tseba eng. What did you do? What did you do? No, I cannot double story house in Nag. I did not build it as a mayor, and I don't believe in building big houses. Samosha bantloka today still the house gig yaga ibuluka remote zegibula ka matso today. Mara mana batho ba ka tla ba uthunya kere I'm ready for death. Yeah. So I will never do it. You know why? Because ke tseba struggle sa bophelo. I can only do it maybe a 6 aduleng. So I can tell you, I can read, I can sense go yena ke tseba tswa mine. And le batho ba buang bana ba ntse ba nroa ka Facebook, I know they are feeded by who. So these are the issues that we ake batle ke di bua holo a di re tswele molemo. Development ya batjha, development ya setjhaba, development ya maqheku, development ya bomme, development ya bontate. Ska ba lebala bontate because every day is women, is young people, is young women. Ma bontate ha o bui ka bona na ho ya manene bontate ke bona ba contributing towards GBV, bontate ba etsa eng, bontate ba sana ntho tsele tsa bona tsa bo tsa di gathering tse le tsa bontate men's forum ba fuwe tšhelete ba iketsetse le bona in their own space and time. That is why ke le ka kgaola sefate se le sa mona Qwaqwa mona wa seba mono thwe ke sefateng when you are still young ka se kgaolela wa tseba bane bontate bane ba dula ka tlasa le bona ba sa bue development ba ipuela mopoto but I'm going to cut this tree as a mayor.
It's good to really on happen to me.
Thank you.
Clear these comments, clear hey, and I think it will now open eyes for those who want to vote. What happened in Akwan? You see those kind of things.
Yes.
So now SNK, like any other political party, is going to participate in the local government election. Do you think it has the capability to take power? And Kimang o nahanang kapo, will it be you who will be in charge of Malukiapofu?
Well, one thing that we need to know that MK is here, and MK is rocking. MK is swagger for young people, and unfortunately, Nkonto Wesizwe, it's a kimasola rona na lonela tukulo. It's not something foreign. It's not an organization it's somebody mara ena re itsebi e se e bitswa Qwaqwa batho ba setšhaba kapa it's something that we know hore ke batho ba ileng ba lwanela tukolo ba sa kang ba benefita le yona government mara ba lwanetse hore nna le wena re be mo re leng teng. So we are definitely, I don't even want to hide it, kapa ke itshabe re tlo inka government ya Free State very soon. Local municipality a batla go bua teng re tlo etsa fela re tlo etsa fela and we are actually ready for that. And MK party is here to remain and MK party is here to stay. So nna batho ba bangata ke a tseba hore they will always want to criticize us. Look it ne ba tswele pele ke mosebetsi wa ba patalwa ba fuwa tšhelete, we know ba fuwa di 50,000 di 20,000 ba ane ba kene media o bapala ka dikelelo tsa batho mara ntwe ke e ratang batho ba tseba nnete. People now know the truth.
But happy people, even though the people know the truth, why babalia need?
Unfortunately ke bophelo bo jwana le ka tlung ya eno wa tseba o ka utlwiswa bohloko gore nnete se ka ba teng ho bua maka o thunga ngwana wa o entseng ka paragadi batswadi ba se ke ba o jwetsa nnete. You know, I don't know why that thing is happening mara nna ke rate I rather stay away ke philele ke le mong ngampane heso wa twe ha ke ba rate but ke avoid ntwe no ya hore ke mashano a tloetsa hore se ka phela. We want money. How about tšhelete? We want to be wealthier. I always wanted people to be rich. Young people, and people were saying that's why we were corrupt. No, people must be wealthier. This company alone, media. Do you know how many people you are going to employ? Never fair contract 35 years.
Because now we want to focus on our different careers.
Yes.
And then leave someone in charge.
Yes.
The company legacy,
yes.
Generational wealth.
Oh, Jehovah.
The next SABC, and they are toward numbers now.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Kinako fair. Nako right very, very soon. So now as let's say you win the elections, what opportunities will you bring to the municipality, and if ever you take Free State, what opportunities will you bring to Free State, the youth, but buying employed with their degrees, educational degrees, and what so forth, degrees that they have, even Bachelor of Sciences. Not sure why, because Bachelor of Science is a very difficult degree, but the jobs are no longer there. But what you don't have submitting the CV, grades in school, so now as legal winner the elections, what opportunities will you bring to the youth and everyone? Some of them they deserve jobs because education.
Well, one of our basic principles as MK issue employment, creating employment. And when we say we want to create employment, we mean let's go take an instrument called government and use that instrument to bring investors. The first thing that we are going to do, maybe Kibuwe, because I'm in Qwaqwa, we will revive the industrial hub. And our people must be trained. I want to forget about retrain about the bargaining council. You know Edcon. You know it, that company. But about the keeper and the eight what's at the shop take our fellas exabat to the Bizagama to the eight working care. How about Vita Mole about production? How about Bonolo you told how about to 7 hours, whatever in tourism. Those people want production. That's why I'm allowed to make the shift. Whatever can I go it's shift according to the shift. Labor, Yabafa, Department of Labor, actually. Motosa Rutia unskilled to hola 27 rand, 28 rand, if I'm not mistaken, ka hour. Unskilled. And Ukasirul unskilled to Bolevela Uholegas, Jologa skilled person. Now, we want to bring investors. What are fair? Because there is no way in this country, world, where government can employ the entire community. I want that country. I've researched. I've checked all the Sierra Leone's and what Burkina Faso's and what, like President Abu. How President that kilo government we have employed Bachaka of failure. There is no such a thing. We need investors to come to help government. Kia special economic zone. You know why Basabasa entertain? Because Bariga President Zoom. Bariga won that the AC Bariga. That special economic zone was going to hire about 28,000 people. Just again, because I was the champion of that. How many 20? And you know what was going to happen? And KZN, Gauteng, halfway house there thing you got. Free State, halfway house. Harassment bila kyo. Hagit wa harassment ki akwa na kitama 312 kilos. Hagit wa harassment ki Gauteng kitama 317 kilos. Isn't it a halfway house? So what that Mtweni geographical position the logistical hub. The container. It's now Gauteng, and that's why many accidents at the track. Why this at Osimodi be halfway house? It's Gauteng declared collected Hutelamra. Bana Bakono Hutahante, who Haufiano Hutela Happy High debit. Because already it is eating on them, on their profit. Because how to that track? It's Amaya 700 kilos to Gauteng. It's a diesel guy. But if you cut it, how save? So banasyon na economy man nantu. Kapag iyo khana jojo buanga. Now that is why I'm yes. Now I'm saying this logistical hub must work and must work for the people. And let me say something kat pilinyanas ke kausingetsa na. Company called Bell. What is it? BELL. In it's the caterpillar listen tse kholo tsa di mine. We were the first person. I was the first person to meet the then management. Was Badandimo. Do you know that company is client there Tengile Soto? And Badan diklo balautwa dandi utlamona harassment. Obalautwa harassment ya masiri. So it was going to work for them to open a manufacturer. We're not going to build a manufacturing company. Yeah, Bell. I don't know what really, Chief, you know, these things they are quite because this is what we did in the best interest of that one. They don't know them. But it's a bella fellow who Nekia China give airport and Kisebong Hono. This that they don't know real sense of issue. The development we are going to make. Kia ni taxi rangi ya bola man. How am I next? Habapo it's a white taxi rangi ulimo. We are going to build a 3-phase mall. Next to that phase taxi rangi. Mara the investor got so nedi say ha taxi rangi ka fela ka speed again. And Maluta Wapofun failed to build it. It's there, it's on record. And how many investment we have lost? No, nobody will talk about it. But they have never spoken about it because and they think no. So we are going to criticize one another. The time is coming. And but we are not bitter. I don't want to come back into this municipality. I can only give advices to those that will be in the municipality. But I'm going to ensure that I influence. Under Umkhonto Wesizwe is the right person to work for the people.
Loud and clear. I'm sure I'll put it. Nebs. Manapo mna. Stumza. Lo no go hantle ka dietsi.
Satsa. Ha ona putso ya ibotsa.
Wile ka mapedi ke nne blo tla kenya letsoa. Mare my family did. Indeed. But anyway, when ntete Vusi ke sono batla o se tshwa hantle he. Sono batla o se clear ka setse se etsahala before we close it.
Well, Naki, thank you very much for the interview, and I hope this interview is the for a purpose of understanding. And in the country, like any other person. And that is why school. The holiday every day. You know why? Because they plan, because something. So why can't we recreate a mesebetsi? 50,000. We have to create mesebetsi. So nane ba Free State, ba South Africa. We should start to love one another as black people. And the hatred that is within us, and that hatred for those who don't know. And isali create war. Hauna mhlango tla bona motho a motsho a supporta motho a motsho, especially mo ke phelang teng na haiso. And I've seen it live. I've seen it live. Wa bona ke tswile masepaleng. Since ke tswa masepaleng ho no sena le motho a iwana ka nketsetsang copy da ke kopa etsa copy. No why? Bana ba hinda Tshabalala ha o ka bona mona na ke mathata. That's the deep hatred. And but wale bala o masepala wo aso wa bona kwa setšhaba. So na kinekere ho bana beso le lona kaofela. If we are not going to make it for this time, we must just forget it. There will never be a light shining for us because we only think about ourselves and those. And lona le tsa ntho e kgolo ntho le etsang ena is because you are thinking of other people. Ngaboli one fela o bua le one o tlo etsa jwang. You need to have a team. So that is why the spirits are builder. Ke spirits etsang re be le di team tsa ngata. And then if we are united force, we'll make it a serious change. So Umkhonto Wesizwe it's a party for the people. Umkhonto Wesizwe is a non-racial, for that matter, for those who don't know. Umkhonto Wesizwe, it is a party that the president, that Jacob Zuma wants to see. That's why we speak about 2/3 majority. If I understand the 2/3 majority, then let's live. And that is why by entseng o riske ga thola 2/3 majority ba utso, and they are still stealing today. Ke bana ba utsitse di vote tsa rona. MK party was won elections. We know elections utlamele be ke president ya rona mo ke MK party, but people were told wrong things because ba tshwereng banana o ra o ka tshwara MK party ba tlo ya tronko. And we are not even, we won't waste our time re isa batho tronko.
Resources.
No, ke resources ngata. Rather take that money, reinvestele ba chemo. Batjha ba kgone ho hola, ba kgone ho etsa bophelo. And those are the things that I wanted to say, and ke lebohela fela modimo le badimo, and I wish hore batho ba ka understand hore ntate modimo teng and wa phela. And it's not by default. Or today we re rutuwe ka ntate modimo. So it's important that we stick to the line ya ntate modimo and ask him to be with us. Babu amaka ba ke re Sesotho se re mashano hana motho mokoka kapa ho thuke.
Mashakwana.
So English. if I fetulele to qeta o bua yeso. Ya leboha ngwana mme, those are the words I wanted to share.
So now, before Kwala, we have our big champions, Simona Qwaqwa. One of them, Kibale Batsuli, Kwatai, look up and that thing. Quantai. Correct, English guy, man, yes. Quantai, and national, ne, Julie number one, Kisho Labonas, Lepesahai.
Bukamos.
That guy, yeah, please give a shout out to. We have seen what's this? Black, one of the biggest school mona on social media. Yeah, it has many followers. Even 100,000. I'm not sure. Is it because of they are 100% or Bonani Bali on what? But they have won 100,000, and also the schools that they've obtained above 90%, they are past rate. And shout out, we must also shout out to those basa pasang fela ba pasting ka di bashela. Of course we know the school city tabela 100%, but what quality do they produce
Out of that, sure.
out of 100%? You must not be glad or 100%
Yes.
ba qualify for school na kapo ba ludula high. So on that, say, especially that guy, and but the mates there, because I saw there are three, just that year, big box. Yeah,
I wanted to make that trip to that family, Abu Bukamuso Mukubu, yes, and celebrate with that family.
Yes.
You know, I become so emotional, so I can say why God has created me in that way, because you know, it takes a family to grow a child. And the upbringing yamalapana kaufela ke yone yield and the results tsa bana ba matric, I can tell you. And I want to congratulate everyone. In fact, we also need to celebrate for this boy Abalo Fitamona, and he must make us proud, because you know, during my times ngabola bosonze ko ngabelo ntse celebrate celebrate to that family and thank the parents and the guardians of that boy, and also thank the kolo tse sebeditseng hantle kaofela. Nna ke re congratulations, they made us proud. Maluti gore, that's why Maluti tsosa lefatshe, if you're not aware. Yeah, Maluti tsosa lefatshe kotsi haholo. So nna ke re modimo ba etsa hantle, congratulations for the good work that they have done. They must keep up the good work, and ke ratile ntho e buleng quality. There's no need to produce passing rate but with poor quality education, poor work. So that is why, if we want to build, I wonder this is what Chinese taught me. The Chinese, that's why they are excelling, is because they spend time to give you a skill. And you know what do they do? How about that offer skill? That's a tester. Do we test the skill? South Africans. Have you tested the skill of the child? Electrical engine. So what must you do to test the skill? Power station. For 6 months. Buffet stipend. Abaluki said, you are testing the skill. So we are failing to test. I spoke about this thing when I was the chief whip in the Khotlen, la ANC, when I was still the chief whip invite to South Africa must be able to create programs of testing the skill. How to say the bana ba bangata ngata TVET mo ngwana a fika mona hore lokisa ko ntwena na mona ke mathata o batla o lata buka pelo kana buka e reng ke tlamele ke phetle o thapo ya ke kopanya le. So we should be able to test the skill. Dr. Qwaqwa, but I think you are right. I think they're right.
side of 10 years because Dr. Yan wa go
eish a shebe moriana o tla
o tla solo uthola ha bona ka ga ba fa diphindo. Yeah, so but they must be tested. I agree with you. Yeah, they should be tested because no, if ever there was a thing usual. Never.
Never.
For this long because there are people there who are told to do this if you told
and by it's practical.
Yes.
They know and this is what I must do.
Yes.
No galebo.
Otherwise we are thankful for another opportunity with you.
Thank you.
We know that's why we must always be thankful and appreciate your time.
Yes.
And also we want to thank our fans. But
Yes.
This year, the exclusive fella.
Yeah, Lena will make sure that the president comes. I'll make sure that it comes in.
For fun. Yes.
I promise.
To expand the Highland to what they want. Now we have a nation around 20 something local about our home to Dr. Khatu.
Oh wow. Oh one
I'll go to Dr. Khatu.
Oh one
so we want at least to a bonus.
Stavola bua mafosi hagele tena o duma koti tshwara mosadi a tlwele mogosi re tla di bona sane tsotsa ba gotsi basadi ba tletse ba tswa joshi ska ba tshwana na tshwere di khosi le mino bo yetsa ngo kwa ditotsi ba meno ka ya tlisetse tosi ke chese sigara ngotsweng khotli nowadays I'm kind of feeling godly tabula seta ke chese soli ngitsandi mali phela ngintete coast
I'm feeling good. It's where the boss I'm a bebeza come do it. Le Pantsolas I'm rapper don't lose it. Take all over day two, the I choose it. No rush when I see the hot boot. Fully vodka ntwana gazi vele sip shy. Uzo koka if you acting kinda good guy. Side bora we just wanna have some good times. Hari robale na my gang ntwana all night. I'm everywhere you go, yellow born MTN. I know they feeling cold, but to heal a battle head. I'm not short when I see the music is dance. If you wanna party with me, gotta understand.
I chop money with a blender like a shredder, eat you like a cheddar. This is so creamy. I take you on the repertoire. I'm taller than the Eiffel Towers, running faster than Keston. Jenge Koli Zoguminya Katalete Kahusinya.
Tshabalala petit boss. Isn't just over there, but pussy vodka. Why you dancing like you wanna do? Come over. Sahla marabela uzokoka. My baby's a Tshabalala petit boss. Isn't just over there, but pussy vodka. Why you dancing like you wanna do? Come over. Sahla marabela uzokoka. Petit boss, sous le petit boss. Petit boss, sous le petit boss. Petit boss, sous le petit boss. Sahla marabela uzokoka. Petit boss, sous le petit boss. Petit boss, sous le petit boss. Petit boss, sous le petit boss. Sahla marabela uzokoka.
Mizute no hadi ya fati Khale ke thata o di male fati Bato le mala no hukuwa di thase Twela bapala tshela motlakase Shapela fati jwalo ka katse Baka musino ba gangwa ke gase